Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's No FOMO Charts, Stocks and Crypto TA live stream. It is Sunday, September 17th, 2023. It's about 11 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Welcome, everybody, and hello. This is a live stream where I review stock charts, crypto requests as well on the longer term time frame, so swing trading and investing. This week is a big week. There's not so much earnings. There's a couple companies, FedEx, General Mills, AutoZone, and Darden Restaurants here in the USA. The big news this week is the FOMC press conference, and the Federal Reserve Chairman is going to have a press conference, make a statement for 2 days. The Wednesday is the announcement, publicly press conference of the interest rates. So are we going to increase interest rates, hold, or lower? It's probably not lower the interest rates. It's probably either hold the same or increase a little bit. Something to watch out for this week. It's going to move markets, at least for that 1 day. Unemployment claims, manufacturing services data as well. In terms of the news, the big headlines. Yes, we had the FOMC press conference, but also in the USA, there's a United Auto Workers strike, which began last Friday, and that's going to impact production for companies like GM, Ford, and Stellantis. In crypto world, Binance USA announced that they are going to lay off, which means fire, a third of its staff. That's 1/3 of the USA Binance corporate staff. And the USA CEO of Binance USA and the 2 legal executives are going to leave the company as well. That's pretty big news, even though Binance did release a follow-up saying that's quote unquote normal. But, that's just showing how much pressure they have from the SEC with the lawsuit and the probe, legal probe. Now, German Deutsche Bank partnered with Swiss crypto firm Taurus to offer Bitcoin and crypto custody solutions to institutional clients. That is why Bitcoin went up to $26,000 this week. Without that, it might have just floated down a little bit or pulled back a little bit down, which we'll take a look at soon. So let's begin with stocks. Before we begin on SPY, somebody last week asked me a question about what are my thoughts on long-term hold in a portfolio, for example. And this is just an educational live stream, so I will point out that Warren Buffett has some great investing advice. If somebody wants to learn how to long-term invest, I would suggest probably studying Warren Buffett or Benjamin Graham. For example, Warren Buffett has said that he holds the S&P 500 or a SPY type of ETF forever, basically. In my opinion, if somebody's trying to time it, however, there are better spots to buy in terms of, as an investor, I do not want to accidentally buy the top of the S&P 500. I want to buy the bottoms and then hold that forever, so to speak, or hold that for a year or 2 years. So then we're actually in profit. Okay, so that's where the technical analysis skill comes in. But in terms of long-term holds, S&P 500 SPY ETF represents something like 80%, I believe, of the stock market capitalization. So that's why you're just basically investing in the USA stock market with this one ETF, for example. Into the TA. So what's going on right now? Short term, S&P 500 is actually in a symmetrical triangle, short term, on the daily. So we draw the trend line on resistance and draw the support level. And you can see we are in a consolidation phase going sideways right now. We did, however, hit this resistance below 451.74. And we can see the relative support level somewhere probably around 437. If the price comes down and we lose 437, we're in a downtrend now. That would be the first official confirmation of a downtrend on the S&P 500 if that happens. However, if we can pull back down and then try to bounce out of here, depending on what happens with the FOMC and whatnot, interest rates, remains to be seen. There is a larger support trend line down here, and that's somewhere approximately around 422. And I do want to point out, if you look all the way left, that is a significant zone of trading. We'll see if that actually happens on that close. We draw this trend line, you can see it tried to break out. We're having this false breakout in the past couple of months here since June. That's why it's hesitating up here. Somebody could say this is a head and shoulders, and the target, if that happens in the bearish side, if we pull back down, is still 6% to the downside. That could be a much longer term bearish target to about somewhere around 408 here. So we'll see what happens there. QQQ as well. QQQ is in a very steep rising channel, and we have the support levels on the downside. We're right at support right now. It's literally riding that support, resistance on the top. There is that potential bearish head and shoulders as well. The targets still stand. We're at this point in the market right now. If we do not hold the support, then it will turn into a short-term downtrend or consolidation. Somebody could say this is turning into a descending triangle up here. Either way, there's a resistance about 378, and the support is this highlighted horizontal line, 357. See if we actually get that. And we also have this trend line sideways. That's our intermediate level of support. On the weekly, we go to candles. Not quite an evening star pattern, just a lower high on the weekly where my mouse cursor is. That's still short-term bearish. Quick flip back to S&P 500, same thing. It rejected off of that resistance. Now flipping to Dow Jones, DIA. Dow Jones has been also in this channel, rising. You can see we're trying to maintain the higher low pattern, but met with the short-term resistance. This whole entire area of the 340s is the support level. And somebody could say this is double bottom. So, okay, if we measure that, if we measure that bullish and go up to the top, 360 could be our target. However, the inverse is also true, negative 3% to the downside if we crash out of here. And crash by meaning it's on the day trading time frame. But this is some kind of large head and shoulders pattern that once we lose this circle area, the 340s, 330s, we're in trouble in the market. Weekly as well is just showing us we did have that Morningstar bounce with some consolidation, 2 inside bars moving to the right here on the weekly. IWM, you can see these all look very similar in the charts. You can see on IWM, there's a much larger head and shoulders pattern. However, this is not happening at the top of a very large uptrend rally move. So to me, I'm interpreting this more as resistance or temporary upticks in inflation and COVID, which with some potential thoughts about recession because of what's happening in the housing market in terms of sales plummeting that have been plummeting to about 2008 levels or worse. So that's why growth is stagnating. Stagflation is the word. We have our support essentially right at this 186 level, and this is a larger measured move. If that's true, that would be 8% or 7% to the downside. That's where my X is on the bottom. If we measure the bullish side, it could be a double bottom if there's some surprise news that goes up like that. But in terms of resistance, that's what we're watching right now, and it's in the middle of this triangle, which is attempting to be a ascending triangle. However, if we look at risk reward, somebody would have to have a 2% stop loss to try to get this 4 to 6%. But I prefer buying lower. For example, I remember talking about this area for about a month on stream, and that had a nice rally up. So that's why I like making these types of plays. Buy off support and let it just run up. You can sell half here and sell the rest up here. And easy trade. Talking about trades, I might not talk that much about MJ this week, but I had successful day trading on ACB, Aurora Cannabis Company. That went up 70% on the Monday, and then additional, there's about 20-25% volatility on that Tuesday. And then we had a pullback and the bounce as well, oversold. pullback. So I had a good day trading gains on that, but that's more of an advanced risky play. So I'm not going to show it all the time unless somebody wants to know. All right, let's move on very quickly to DXY, dollar currency index. Now we've broken out of this run daily on this resistance right at the top here. This is not a support play. This is a resistance play up here at 105. See if it's going to break out or not. It is losing momentum on a MACD. That's why someday this is going to pull back, which could provide a inverse correlation. Not always, but possible inverse correlation with the S&P 500, where if this dollar pulls back, S&P and the euro might go up. It's possible. So I'm watching out for that just because we're approaching that resistance with the dwindling amount of momentum. However, on our weekly, let's zoom in real big here. We haven't had the first downtick on our MACD like we've seen in June. June was here, so we haven't seen that yet. Remains to reveal itself if it's going to happen or not, when it happens. Let's hop on over to gold. Gold, try to make a higher low here on the daily chart. And we actually did tap that gap. This is why I like using gaps indicator for stocks. You can see I changed the color on mine, but it helps to draw it. So once it's in the gap zone, you might have a gap fill to the upside. That's what happened here up to the 178 area. Now, it is still in a symmetrical triangle. However, this was a valid support play on a H1 or H4, and we're going to see how if this can maintain and actually break out of here. If not, you could just reject back down to the 177 level. Take a quick look at the weekly. I like this hammer candle here. It would have been nicer if it was smack right here at the bottom of August, but I like the MACD building here. And we have had hammers with 2 or 3 weeks of continuation to the upside. See if that happens on gold. Silver consolidation play on a weekly especially. And this is literally the definition of consolidation in terms of price getting range bound and bouncing between support and resistance over a period of time. Literally going sideways. Not much here. This was forecastable in terms of this bottom support is the 618 Fibonacci level, which is about $20 or so. Holding there very nicely, piercing up to the 236, which is $23 between the two blue lines. Another trick I like to use is instead of just drawing two bars here, I like to use the parallel channel tool on TradingView and close in as many resistance and support levels as possible. And now we could see we have this nice dotted half heart line, I like to call it. The RSI I'm seeing is making a higher low with some MACD histogram. I call this continuation MACD bullish histogram, especially here and dropping off, bouncing off of this support. So hopefully, just like gold, this will bounce back up to 2250. However, when it becomes so obvious like this, sometimes there's a surprise play to the downside as well. So, but the risk reward is slightly better here. This is the second day on the ETF. Forex trading might be completely different, but there's still a 2-to-1 play here. Have to have a 4% stop loss. Let's take a quick look at copper. People still interested in copper. Interested. And it's still symmetrical triangle. This top line is not perfect, but it's enclosing most of the price. And we're still stuck in between here with this higher low. And we want to see that we're not gonna fall down to support at about the $23 range. It's right in the middle of that triangle, not my favorite setup. But copper kind of not really getting into a nice uptrend pattern. It's not really happening yet. Oil, again, the continuation is wonderful to see. This is a very common play where we have this support and the resistance breakout, some hesitation, pullback. Let's see exactly where it pulled back to. Pull back to about the 50 EMA on this daily with continuation. This is what crypto, or when things go uptrend, this is what it kind of looks like. You have a pullback, that last pullback, and if it keeps accelerating to the upside, that's where we get some of those extra gains. Now, the weekly has not hit its overbought level of above 70. So we want to see this top out somewhere in terms of what are some top out signals. Sometimes shooting star, it's hard to see. Shooting star here or bearish engulfing or evening star pattern. It's not happening yet. So oil and XLE energy ETF continuing to rally. But we don't want to FOMO. We don't want to come in too late as traders or investors because there are plenty of times on support to buy it. Natural gas, just kind of hesitating here below $7. Not much to say here. Between $6.50 and $7. It is tightening in this consolidation. It's better to just look at a weekly here. There was a hammer candle last week with an attempt last week. 2 weeks ago, there's a hammer candle. And the momentum is still dwindling as well. So we need to have some real fundamental news for that to change. Take a quick look at XLK ETF. XLK just establishing that lower high on the September 5th daily chart. And see if it's going to make a higher low or not. It needs to hold above 165, especially to have a chance to rally out of here. That would be nice to see. Take a quick detour to XLRE, holding that higher low above 36 and stuck below EMA. So these are colorful EMAs on resistance on top, but it's still down cross. That's why it doesn't look that great. XLF is different. We had this nice up cross on the golden EMAs, and the MACD is still open, and it's attempting to do some kind of higher low pattern, see if it actually breaks out to about 35 or not. But I like, this is a perfect play. If somebody's an H4 swing trader, that's oversold right there with bullish momentum on a support level. That's the exact perfect spot to try to buy one of these stocks or ETFs. It's not much in terms of gains, but it's solid in terms of 6-to-1 or 5-to-1 reward to risk ratio. A quick look on XLY. There is this kind of ascending triangle type of pattern happening on consumer discretionary here. And very much long term, but if I conservatively measure this, could be a 7% breakout if this actually happens. Hoping the market doesn't crash or pull back too hard on FOMC news. But at the same time, if we can maintain this higher low pattern, it's good because it's starting to up cross again. Let's see if we get some momentum and get a longer term rally here on the markets. Quick detour. XLI is still in the downtrend. XLB at the higher low. XOV consolidating on that support trend line. XOP, consumer staples, unfortunately has a death cross on it. But there's bullish momentum on the MACD with a double bottom here. So it's just a matter of can it hold and then try to pierce back up on the price. XOU, this is a nice quick oversold play, right? It's in a downtrend, into a hammer candle, into a gap up. That's significant into a rally with some momentum off of oversold RSI. What's a potential move here if somebody came in? It's still about 3%. That's fine. SMH as well, holding above that support level. Better watch out here. Losing a little bit of momentum. You can feel it in the market just on the oscillators. Lower high. Potential head and shoulders resistance as well. Lower high and see if we can make that lower low. I don't want it to happen, but if it's going to happen, 137 is the target. Okay, let's check the requests. If you have a request or question, just let me know right away. Today's stream will be a little bit shorter than usual. We're just going to go ahead and jump right into crypto. Welcome, everybody. This is the crypto section of the live stream. We're doing crypto TA charts today. If you have requests, just let me know. TOTAL on the daily. Let me restart this. So now on my indicator package that I have here, we are in a death cross on the 50 and 200 EMA, which is bearish. And I like to call this a double death cross. There might be a different name for it, but that's just what I like to call it. The 100 death crossing below the 200 EMA. So these are my orange and red lines. That's another death cross. So that's just not something we want to see on a daily. And if we zoom out, let's zoom out all the way on the weekly. Okay, because sometimes it can get a little bit tunnel visioned if we only look at daily charts. So I'm looking at logarithmic total chart. Now, if I get my lines here, if I draw this trend line, we've already lost the 8-year trend line. Does that make sense? If I look at it this way in the market, okay, if I draw this one trend line, this is not good. We should have bounced back in June to try to hit basically $60,000 Bitcoin if that was going to be a perfect support play. However, life is not perfect, and the SEC lawsuit changed everything. So if we draw another trend line, more recent trend line, let's say a 3-year trend line since the pandemic, let's zoom in here. We can see that we still lost the support level here on this trend line. So I'm looking at this very long term. I did see other traders and analysts make short-term calls in terms of short-term, ascending triangles or oversold bounce plays. I'm talking about investing right now. Weekly, I don't want to see the price stay down here too long. If it just pokes out down here, that's okay. That's normal. It's just price discovery, market makers, algorithms, stopping out people. But if I want to see this really rally, what do we need? We need buyers to defend support right above the $1 trillion market cap area. If this is a double bottom, okay, that's good. I like that because we're supposed to get a long bounce off of here. So bulls need to defend the support, okay? But if we're talking 10 years of data on the large yellow trend line, okay, it's still not good enough to me. Okay, this is not good enough for me as an investor. It's lost the momentum. It's lost the support. It's not going in an uptrend right now. We're in a sideways consolidation for 1 year. I'll say it again. We're in a sideways consolidation for the past 1 year. We've been stuck between 1,272 trillion and 779 billion. Just stuck between there with our most current resistance below 1.2 trillion. Okay, so we can see here that if we need to break above the 1.28 trillion resistance, or we can fall back down below 1 trillion or even 777 or 776 billion dollars market cap. It's not good. SEC lawsuit. That's why. FTX crash. All these things. Okay. So the big picture, that's what I'm seeing on the charts. And I'm not trying to have a doomsday post. I do like this MACD is subtly building. I would like it to finish at some point so we can get some upward momentum as a bull, as a long. But what is the daily? If we look at weekly, it's actually, it's still in a golden upcrust on the weekly, but we lost our short-term EMAs here. That's not good to me. The blue and the purple on my chart. So to me, it's still not good. Weekly pivots below the pivot point. Not good. Death cross, everything, all price below all my major EMAs. Not good either. If you're long, that is. Now, what is everyone talking about? The bullish play? Well, there was this oversold with a little bit of this momentum. So that's partly what people are talking about. And I understand. I understand. How is it going to go bullish? This one scenario. Higher low and then higher high. To retest what? The EMA is right here, 1.08 trillion. Break out of this little resistance. If that happens, great. We need some positive catalysts to move the money flows back into cryptocurrency. That's what needs to happen, because what happened in reality, this for 4 weeks, is cannabis stocks had all of the catalysts and momentum. All the traders, we all traded that. 100%, 50, 100 to 200 to 400% or 200% gains of volatility. Of course, all the day traders are going to do that. Crypto right now is under the brute force control of the SEC and the government right now. It's the government versus corporations, the regulation laws. Hype cannot fix it fast enough, right? So because why did cannabis go 50 to 100%? Because there was a government law proposed change, basically. That's why. It's a news catalyst by one of the government institutions here in America. So that's why crypto is not going to have a major move unless two things happen. We have billions of dollars of inflows or millions of dollars inflows into the market or altcoins, or real bullish substantial government change in America, USA, not just like what's happening everywhere else in the world with certain banks, or which is good, but we need the US government institutions to make the change. So now when we look at Bitcoin, okay, we look at that lens, now Bitcoin starts to make a lot more sense. So what's happening on the daily? Let's start weekly, actually. Weekly, let's zoom in. I might have to use BLX, for example, because BLX has a lot of history. This is the liquidity index for Bitcoin, just example, but you get a lot of data going back all the way to the beginning, which was 5 cents of Bitcoin. Okay. So we all would have loved that, right? 5 cents Bitcoin. So in terms of the trend line, there's this intermediate trend line since the 5 years. And you can also see we are literally almost writing that. Where's exactly that? It's $21,075, $22,000 Bitcoin. Okay. So from a bullish standpoint, it's still a bullish play. Six years. Okay. I'm just saying it needs to just not crash and drop below $22,000. We're going to test it this year within the next 6 months. Okay. Because in the pandemic, this is the pandemic crash right here without the big candle move, right? Because as long as the support holds, it's fine if we consolidate here. It's okay. We need to break above where? 28,000 and 30,000, 32,000. But we're going to defend this. If it consolidates back down here, all the way down to 22,000, even possibly down to 20,000 on this yellow line, that's actually, it's okay if that happens. We just need to defend it very strongly down here, 22K. Okay. That's basically what we're seeing. There could be an upside down head and shoulders, but there's most recently a double top resistance. So that's why I'm watching this very, very closely. Because if we're going to have a parabolic move, at least it's near the support level. At least. Now, time will tell if we're going to pierce down, we're going to crash down, pierce into it, and then reverse. Or are we just going to have that's a bullish sign, by the way. Or we're going to consolidate for a couple months. Or is it bearish and is game over? And then finally, we're going to have the big, big crypto crash. Those are the only 3 scenarios that's available right now on the long term. Right, so we're getting some additional clues. Now, if somebody's a swing trader and you're saying, I don't care about all this long-term investing, you just wanted the next day or week's trade, let's go to H4 chart and H1 chart. H4 chart, at least we had this oversold. It was very beautiful. On a bad day, I'm going to say it happened on September 12th in terms of this rally, right? We had this low and then the subsequent rally. So H4 traders, if you go to H1 chart, look at this. H1 EMA up cross on off of oversold. Okay, this hit my alert, 25,000. That's why it's good to set alerts. Watch this. It literally went right into my alert. I remember getting that in the afternoon. So if I really wanted to long crypto as a swing trader, that was the spot to do it. Upside down head and shoulders, you'll be up approximately 6% if somebody hit that alert. Trade. It's perfect. Low RSI, MACD histogram, upside down head and shoulders, off an alert play in the afternoon, my time. Doesn't get better than that. H1 in the up cross. Now we're going to see if we penetrate and pierce through $27,000 to get follow through on this H4 chart. It's been in the upstairs type of pattern. This on the daily is that potential double bottom play. So now you see the cascade up that needs to happen on H1. We do have a nice golden cross. H4, we need to reclaim the golden cross on Bitcoin longs and just keep this rally going. It's not even overbought here on H4. So swing traders have a little bit of room to play with, although I like to enter on the bottom side better. Safer as a trade, less risk. And then the daily will probably have to pierce all the way back up to 28 or 30,000, right? So this $125,000 pierce in terms of a short-term trade, I am hoping this is going to be a carbon copy of June 2023. Doesn't this look very, very similar in terms of the downtrend hitting a support level? You get this kind of oversold type of play or a momentum play, and then it rallies, pop up. Okay, this was the this is some kind of news play back in June. But in terms of same price action, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, into oversold, into MACD histogram continuation. It's resting right above that EMA off the Deutsche Bank news. So what I want to see this week is a break above 27,000, pierce 28, try to hit 29 in the next month. Okay, so now you see the mindset of swing trading versus investing. Investors, they're not even looking at this. They're saying as long as we can hold above the 200 EMA and try to bounce back up to 30, we're fine. We're fine. If we ever lose this 200 EMA, it was just tested. If we ever lose it, then we're in big trouble, or if the SEC government institution does something bad on crypto. All right, I am not seeing any requests. So let's rapid fire the rest of the altcoins and then we'll be done for this stream. Unless there's a request. So Ethereum USD, we do have this temporary death cross, but this is a bullish potential reversal. Now, the only thing we want to be careful of is, now the death cross doesn't mean 100% down or bearish. It just means slightly greater than or approximately 50% or a little bit above 50%, depending on the news, bearish now. Short term, until it starts trending down. So even though we have this oversold, what do I need to see is we need to see higher low form and then higher low and then try to get to a 1700 area, right? Right? We need to see that happen, bouncing off of like a 1500 area. If we don't get that, what's the most likely scenario? We could have this, what I like to call dead cat bounces or failure bounces or resistance bounces that keep pushing us down to 1500. On the weekly, we are right at the 200 EMA. So you'll see this story repeat a lot, is that a lot of altcoins and Bitcoin we're testing, including like XRP, we're testing this this red 200 EMA right here. Binance Coin, because the lawsuit is below that. There is MACD histogram. Momentum with oversold bounce play on the daily, H4. However, because of the lawsuit, I'm just going to skip this one. Solana writing support. So yes, we're death cross, but into a support level that bulls need to kind of defend in the short term with some MACD histogram on the altcoins. Weekly as well, just bouncing off of that support level. See if we could bounce back up to 21 because bulls need to buy. Cardano right at this double bottom zone, about 24 cents. Potential double bottom, but it is downtrending, however. This will be a good reward to risk, though. I might trade Cardano here because if it's going to be a 6% stop loss, where's my upside? One of these. It's probably going to be 12%. So 28% is going to be, 28 cents is going to be my target to the upside. Why am I saying here? Because it's close enough. It's not exactly the perfect spot on the bottom here, but I like to see this bounce off the bottom. It's open MACD. Higher low. If Bitcoin goes up, this might bounce up. That's why. Possible. Weekly as well. There's not a perfect hammer candle or a piercing of any kind right now, but a little bit of momentum building. Now, XRP, somebody asked me about this a week or two ago. XRP is bouncing, tightening up right off of this 200 EMA. And if I draw this one trend line, you can see it's right there. We have to, bulls have to, for almost all crypto, bulls have to defend. This is the spot to defend crypto. The support trend line and a 200 EMA weekly trend line, this is the spot to defend. Because bears will say, bears are thirsting in their mouths right now, thirsting in their accounts right now, so to speak. Bears want to see this thing fail because as soon as it fails and closes below 47 cents, it's short that thing as hard as they can down to oblivion. So bulls, it's the fight right now on level 2. It's neutral RSI. The daily is in a potential kind of bullish momentum, possible turnaround We're already seeing it happening a little bit on the H1 on the 15-minute as well. Right, the oversold bounce. We need to see continuation. Excuse me. We need to see continuation. A little faster now. AVAX with the potential bearish, potential bullish momentum on a daily. DOT with the potential double bottom on the RSI on the price. Doge with the potential double bottom on price and higher low reversal bullish on Dogecoin if it happens. Shiba Inu has MACD histogram bullish momentum underneath here. This could pop up easily. 9%. Matic with looks like a MACD histogram play, but it's so high up. This is not my favorite trade. Let's see here, 786. Right, Atom as well. It's kind of bouncing off here, but bouncing off where kind of the 685 level and above, near higher low. Try to get this reversal. This one's not as strong. Litecoin had a flash dump on September 12th, and that's why it just there's that bullish momentum. So again, as a long-term investor, that one snapshot on the beginning of Bitcoin Weekly, that takes weeks and months to play out. So as an investor, I just have that in the back of my mind. But as a swing trader, if I see 4-hour daily setups, I might take some of these in terms of hit the bid, right? Might buy some of these, right? All it takes is a little bit of bullish catalyst news. We had a little sprinkle of that with the Deutsche Bank. Binance USA layoff news is bad, but if there's every week or every 2 weeks, there's a little bit better news, then I can actually predict that this thing might actually go up. Because after we have a super oversold and it's not continuing to go down, where else is it going to go except up? At least for a short-term trade. Link the same thing. That momentum was building and we got that 10% little cool off. Tron just hitting that higher low. Bitcoin Cash, that double bottom, which I marked last time, actually was a perfect spot and 10% gains. Ethereum Classic, we're seeing the support level here on $15. Now, this is a little bit trickier because the higher low on the RSI was that perfect September 12th spot. And that was just phenomenal trading for crypto and cannabis stocks as well. Had really good gains on cannabis stocks. But we'll see here if this is going to turn into a higher low and bounce off to the next 1631 or 1690 target. I'll switch to a weekly chart. Stellar trying to hold its 26 EMA here, the first downtick on the weekly. So Stellar, very important that it holds this 200 EMA, which is 11 cents. Very, very important. Because this can be a setup. What does this look like? Stellar chart reminds me of XLF ETF. Let's just take a snapshot of this. In terms of this is going up, we bounce right off the 200 EMA and we might get bullish continuation. We go to XLF, watch this, right at the arrow, right? The pullback down, hold that, we get some momentum and then bounce up to the upside resistance. So XL Stellar, that might happen. So this could be the next trade here. Educational advice, but for me, this could be my real trade. See if we can get this bounce up to, that's 15, 16%. That's pretty good gains there. Now, just wrapping up here. VeChain, VeChain sometimes has a very, very nice 20%. I mean, there's just so many things going wild that day. H-bar, the potential upside down here and shoulders. I like how this is looking here, 9%. See if we get the upside. Hit that 5-cent target or the 10 cents target. Potentially. Might be good. Waves as well. I like it that it's holding support. And then we're falling down below to the 130 level. The 150 levels here. And let's see if we get that 10% bounce. So if you might be wondering, okay, how do I try to capture this type of low? On September 10, 11, 12 on China trading, right? So let's say September 12th, the not the crash side, but the actually rally side. Trying to do it on a daily is tough. This is where you have to turn to a swing trader or possibly a day trader, setting alerts, because even going to H4 on EGLD is right when it hit this bottom. I had my alert set up on Bitcoin, so I knew that this was going to crash, or it crashed into my alert. So I looked at my alert. If I looked at, let's say, this chart, if I wanted to trade it, that day I was not. But if I wanted to, the support level here, oversold with MACD histogram, take on some risk. I mean, it's just as simple as that, right? A couple percent stop loss in small, medium-sized position for educational. You could target maybe the first EMA here, 6%. That's a 3-to-1 reward to risk play, or the top of the left side here is 10%. It actually went 18%. It's beautiful. Beautiful. So now when people see this, what the temptation is to say, oh, it's just a perfect play, just long, but yet to realize that it's already up 16% off of the low. So if there are gains to be had here, it's probably gonna be pretty small in terms of relative 3, 4, 5, 6%, right? So that's why the next target might be this yellow EMA up here, 27. That's why for me, I try not to chase too much. This right here, if you know this play, this is a bearish play. The bears, they shorted this thing down, but then right here, the shooting star at the bottom here, that's usually a exit sign, because what happened is somebody tried to short, and then we had a bullish reversal here. They tried to short again, and it failed. So then all this, the experienced shorts, they close their position right here, take profit, and then bulls take over. A little bit of short squeeze on the screen. All right, so that's pretty much, I think, where I'm going to stop now. Covered investing and swing trading for stocks and crypto. Just want to say thank you to everybody who joined today, and try to keep it more brief today. If you have a request for next time, just let me know in the YouTube comments, or perhaps on Twitter. But YouTube comments are better, where I could see it before I start a stream. Thanks everyone for watching. I appreciate your support. If you like my channel or my content, I'm streaming live on TradingView, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. We have a group there on X. I would appreciate a follow, support, and share my content and this channel with your friends or family. And just spread the word so we could get the good charts and the ideas flowing and the streams going. Thanks so much, and I'll see you next weekend. Bye-bye.